just serged this. Just pull that extra material out for me. Okay, so now after you serge, obviously it's like this, okay? And then you obviously need to flip it over and then pour the material underneath, okay? And that will give you your binding. So what I'll show you from what it looks like from behind, okay? So what I do is I fold and make sure that that material edge is actually in line with that, okay? Then pull it over. Okay, now I don't go all the way because a lot of people go all the way. And I find it gives you actually less material and it doesn't look that pretty when you're binding. So what I do is I go like this to the edge, okay, and then pull that, and then I literally just cover my hem, okay, and then pin. I'm just pinning it from the back now, but what I'll do is I'll turn it over and then I'll pin it from the front because it's easier while you're twin needling that. Okay, do the exact same thing on this side. Okay, see how that just covers it? Okay, that just covers the hem. Or the stitch, I think it is. I'm not too good with my terminology. I've only been sewing for 6 months. Okay, so then that's what the front looks like. Okay. Normally I just pin it at the back, and then what I'll do is I'll turn it and then I'll pin it from the front. I know it takes longer, but you want it to look good, don't you? I've got clips, but I'm not a big fan of them. I find pins a bit more precise for myself. You use either or. And I think the difficult part is with the straps as well. So I'll show you how to do the straps. What I find easier after I've done, I think this is probably my 6th one. Okay, I've just pinned it from the back. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Okay. Okay, so now with my sewing machine, you can see this is the line that I follow. Okay, so I put the inner edge of my strap, okay, with the line on that foot, okay, and then I sew about 1/8 or 2/8 away from that line. Okay, so with a twin needle, I use my pressure foot on 4 and then my stitch length on 2.8. Okay, and I find that that doesn't tunnel. So if you come back over here, and do you remember how I said just to give yourself a little bit extra? Because what you'll do is that when you do the twin needle, I backstitch. So I backstitch from there to there. And also if you have a little bit extra material, it's just easy for the foot to grab onto. And then you're not like scrunching up the material and that while you're doing it. So let's have a look. Okay. This is hard to do it with the camera in my face. So like I said, to that line, okay, and with that extra material, so I've just dropped my foot, and then when I start sewing, I'm going to back stitch. Okay, and I'm just going to go back and go forward. Okay, I'm just following that line on my foot. So what I'm doing is that every time I take my needle out, I just make sure the bottom is covering the stitch, okay? And then I'm just going to keep continuing throwing that line. And while I'm doing it is that I'm actually stretching out my material slightly just so I make a straight line. Some people don't backstitch, some people just go straight into it and then towards the end they just tie it off. I just backstitch, I find it easier. Okay, so now we're back on the table. So you can see now this is my twin needling. It is a little bit wavy, but once you actually wash it, it's fine, to be honest. It doesn't curve or anything like that. There is my binding. Yeah. This is what the back looks like. So as you can see, it's there and you can stretch it and the seams won't pop. Okay, let's go do the straps. Okay, so this is when you're doing the straps. So obviously the pattern tells you to pin. What I've done is that I've just used washable marker and then I've just measured it and then I've pinned it from there. I just find using a marker a lot easier. Okay, so what you'll do, the pattern tells you to obviously serge and then stop here, or use a sewing machine and then stop there. What I found easy is that I will serge all the way through here, okay? Because when I actually start folding it over, I know that that certain amount there is what needs to go under, okay? So I'll show you. Okay, so now I'm just going to serge all the way, and like I said, I'm not going to stop here where the straps finish. I'm going to serge all the way. And I'm just sewing cotton lycra and my knife is disengaged, so I'm not cutting actually into the material. You can have it on, but I just prefer not to. Okay, so when I get to this actual binding part, because a lot of people find that it actually jams up here because your differential feed is actually too low because you're sewing thin. So what I do is I slow it down and then I'll crank it up to 1 just to go over this binding. Okay, I think that's good now. Okay, now I'll just go back to my normal setting, 0.8 or 0.5 depending. Okay, and then I'll just serge. What this does is this just gives me a marker for when I fold over. Okay, so I'm getting to that binding and crank it up to 1. Okay, so I've gone over the strap, and then I'll go back to 0.8. Done. So now this is the straps and this is what you've serged. So remember how I said that I kept serging? This is going to be my little marker all the way through. So we're just going to do exactly what we did for the neckline and the back line, is to fold it. So then that actual material is in line, okay? And then fold it over. Just enough to cover my stitching. Okay, don't want to go all the way over. I just want to have a little gap. I find it looks neater. Okay, and then do it on this side. I do my ends first, and then what I do is I pull it so it goes a little bit straight, and then I do the middle part. Okay, so it just covers it. Okay, so this is the confusing bit here. Oh gosh, it took me forever when I first started this. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to keep it a little bit straight so it looks like that. Okay, and then fold it. And then fold it over. Okay, and then depending on where you want it to pin, so see how where that marker is, it's staying inside, is that I pin just about there. Okay, so then I know it will stay there. Okay, there you go, that's one strap done. And then I pull it and then pull it over and then pin. Just stretch it out a little bit and then pin. Okay, I want to do the same to this side. Okay, so it matches the edge. I want this a little bit neater, so what I'll do, I'll just make it go in. Okay, that's there. Then pull it over. Okay, that's the horrible bit there. Okay, I want to make sure that's all nice and tucked in and neat. Okay, so remember how I said the reason why I serged it is then I know to push that little bit extra material up when I'm binding. Okay, just make sure my inner piece is nice and straight. Yep, there it goes. And then pin. Okay, and then you've got this last piece here. Okay, just enough to cover it. Okay, and then pin. Here's all my bits pinned. Let's have a look at what the back looks like. The front, actually, this is what you're going to be sewing. Okay. All right, let's see from the front. So now what I've done is that I've lined the edge of that strap to the line on my foot, and then I follow that all the way through. My presser foot is on 4. I think that's what it's called, presser foot. I have no idea, but I've got this dial on 4. And then I've got my stitch length on 2.8. And what I want to do is that I want about 2/8 away from that line, because I want my actual twin needle stitching actually really close to there, because I find that if you stitch a bit in the middle or a bit further out, it just doesn't look neat. Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I've only been sewing for 6 months. Like I said, this is just what I've found. Just back stitching. Some people don't back stitch. Some people just go straight. And then what they do is they tie off. I find that annoying. So I'm just following that line. Just go a bit slower if you find, guys. I'm just so used to the twin needle now. I'm just neatening up my straps, tucking this in a little bit more, making it a little bit neater, and then following that line through. I'm not stretching my material either. I find that if you're stretching your material, it will become wavy. And this is just normal cotton lycra, guys. So this is what it looks like so far. See how the twin needle is actually quite close to the edge? I'm just following that line all the way through. You want to just make sure that it covers the bottom as you take the pin out. Just backstitch. Cool. Okay, so this is the finished product. So as you can see, it's a little bit wavy, but then once it goes on the body, it's fine. And then once you sew it, this is what we've done earlier. Look at that wonky line. It's only wonky because I couldn't see the line as I was actually sewing through. But that doesn't bother me because it's just a little video for now. But yeah, once you put it through, and then obviously you sew the sides. I've actually just I use a marker so that I know what my back and what my front is. So this is what the front looks like. So once it's on, it doesn't look that wavy, guys. There you go. That's binding.